you'd think I almost had a job.
Yeah.
Okay. That says it's going. And it's not even 6 o'clock yet, so you know.
Plenty of time.
I got this too. I got 3 things I got to turn on. Start. Okay, that's rolling. Check. Yeah, we're getting levels there. Whoa! I've been getting electric shocks down here, Paul. Is that because of the air being so dry?
Could be, yeah. You never had them before. It's probably static. What are you standing on? Is there a pad?
There's a plastic pad.
Yep, there you go.
It. Really?
That's your answer, yep.
It's numbing me up to the wrist sometimes when I grab
Yeah,
something
you're
out
probably
of there.
creating quite a bit of static. Lucky you probably have a good grounded system because that static can actually blow electronics. So, do you have a surge protector?
Jackson's not on.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Which Jackson talk to me? Talking to you. Can you hear me
Oh,
yet?
I got
Yeah.
the game all the way down. Hold on. Try it again.
How about now? There we go.
Yeah.
It's been so long since I've turned that mic on, you know.
I know. I don't even have to look at your son's pores now. He's so far away.
I know. We're back where we belong now.
Yeah, that's right. Whew.
I don't care. Just stay the hell away from me, man.
Okay, that's rolling. This is rolling. I have actually Paul's beautiful photo that I pirated and put a logo on it, but it's going to go over there eventually. But okay, this is fine. This is normal. Everything's working. It's just fine. Before we begin, it is again time to say some thanks to our continued friendship with Scratch Labs. You guys, I know as well as you that they provide the best tasting hydration out there. They also provide brilliant long-term fueling options, but which you truly do need to try. But did you know about their recipes? No, really, like the rice cakes that make you look and taste like you're a real pro. But they now have a new pie crust recipe out there just in time for the holidays. I shit you not. It might be like gluten-free, but yeah, Paul, exactly. Gluten is, but I'm going to put some trust in them. I'm not going to try it, but I think you guys should. Just in time for Thanksgiving, they got you covered from eating the same old boring shit day after day, ride after ride. Get to scratchlabs.com and check out all they had to offer. I don't know if that was the best endorsement I have ever given them. Also, thanks to Gooder Sunglasses. Let's get that Mullet Award, people. Come on, follow Bike Gooder on Instagram today and not only get what's up on all the best eyewear you can afford to the potential of seeing the best punished mullet since Billy Ray Cyrus made an apparent deal with Satan. Let's do this. We need to see that man in a mullet. It could be a beautiful thing. Let's do this. Might be a little hot, but I don't care. Brought it down a little bit. Get quiet. I'll do it over here. There, that's a little better. Well, it's the week of Thanksgiving, the time when Americans take a moment to truly realize how despicable we are by stuffing our faces with food in celebration of claiming ownership to a land already owned. In the Packfiller studio, I'm the artist formerly known as Heavy P. I'm Pat Bulger. With me is the former rapper known as Grand Calf Master Paul Main. And in the studio, the man who is officially known as COVID-free college boy, Jackson Bulger.
Hello.
I'm going to bring that theme down a little bit more because it's really loud. We are live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Podbean as I speak.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Really fucking worried that I just jinxed it. I've been working nonstop on this shit. You'd think I got paid a very healthy living for this stuff, but God, I hope it's all working. If all else fails, I know that the Podbean app works wonderfully thanks to our friends over at Podbean. My fingers are crossed on the video. As many of you guys know, I spent a little bit of money. Don't tell my wife. And God, she could be listening. And hopefully things are on the way up. If they don't, I'm going to officially retire from video. Or I'll probably just keep working at it. Gentlemen, let's start the podcast as we start every podcast with confessional time. You can hear the heaters on in the background.
'Tis the season.
I spend money on video stuff, but not yet on heaters. But let's start the podcast with the regular question of the show. Gentlemen, first of all, Jackson, welcome back, dude.
Thank you.
Nice to have you here. Mm-hmm. Who's riding?
Real ride?
Bike ride.
Not
any
on
type.
road.
Straddling a top tube and making your legs go around in circles.
Oh, I guess I've done that. Yeah.
That's God. You're depressing me.
Well, it's not outside, but it was inside. I have been Zwifting it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I caught you on a ride.
You did.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to ask you a couple questions about that Zwift ride. First of all, have you figured out what the hell's going on?
Well, the tire made a big difference because I put
did.
that on. You gave me a tire, and that made a huge difference. But I don't know. It freewheeled a lot better. Like
It
downhill, when we were riding together, I couldn't stop pedaling. Otherwise, I would go backwards. So
And I was coasting. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's fixed. Yeah, I don't know what to compare. But when we're riding side by side, that's why I said 2 by each.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was behind you, and you'd be doing like around 2 watts per kilogram, and I'm behind you doing 2.3 or 2.
Yeah.
And when you're drafting behind me, you're like 1.2, and I'm at 3.
Shit.
You know, so I don't know if it's. So I put that tire on, recalibrated it, did a ride. It seems to be okay. I just freaking hate riding indoors.
Yeah, that doesn't help. It could be mental.
Yeah. And the courses there's like I got on New York. That is the dumbest.
It's terrible.
I stopped. I got off of there. Ditched that. I don't want to see that. That is stupid. But I did some. There's one in France.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I realized I don't even look at the I just ride anyway.
Yeah.
Might as well be on my rollers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Because that was so you recalibrated, and I always remember the first time I put that tire on, you don't have to tighten it down as much.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think they said like 6 half circles or something like that, and somebody's probably at home going, "Dude, that's too much. Don't do that much." But and I remember, and I did on the steep stuff. I'll get a little beep, beep, slip, but it's better than cranking it down so much that the resistance is just twice as hard. So.
And I think that tire helped, but I still can't. My maximum sprint on that is only 829 watts.
Wow.
I did on CPs when he first had it. He showed me it was the first experience with the kicker. Zwift. Yeah, and he has a kicker. Anyway, I hopped on and I did helped him out at work a little bit. Around his house, and I had work boots on and jeans, and I thought, hey, I'm going up a hill, and I easily pegged 700, close to 700, maybe it's just under 700 watts, and that's now I can't even do it on my bike now. Maybe I was quite younger then,
Maybe
5 years ago.
That's the kicker.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Dad joke. Jackson, what's your riding been like? Fess up.
I've been inside as well. Things are getting busy. We're getting to the business end of the semester. Finals for me are in now 3 weeks.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so doing as much as I can with the time I got. Recently I pegged a good 10-page paper, finished that up. Now I only have 27 more to write. So
no shit.
We're gonna try and 27 more pages to write. So
Wow.
we're gonna try and get as much in as we can.
Okay. Wow. I rode 3 times. That's it. I didn't Zwift race this week. I wanted to, but I just was like, Tuesday, I got over, not Tuesday, because Tuesday's when I do this. Wednesday, I decided to fire up the old Sufferfest and see what was going on over there, those guys, and I did. And I rode a VO2 max interval workout, which Is it too early in the year to be doing these? I think so. You know, I don't know if I should be doing specific die-hard, dedicated workouts, but I did it just to try it, and it was with the GCN presenters, which is really, it was all right. You know, it was hard, but it was kind of weird. I don't know if I want to watch two other people work out while I'm working out. It just seemed odd, but I did that. Then I got outside on Saturday, which was heavenly. Sorry, I got out on my gravel bike because I knew that if I didn't get a call or text from Paul Main that I could be okay going out on my gravel bike. And so I went out there and just kind of bounced around and had fun. Did about 2.5 hours. And it was one of those ones where you're not in a hurry. You're not going fast, but you're just kind of enjoying the ride. So it was nice. And I got to say, I'm hooked on those headphones now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They're kind of nice. It's weird. I won't turn them on until I'm out in the middle of nowhere, until I know I'm out past downtown, kind of a thing like that. Yet, once they're on, I'll wear them all the way back to the house, through downtown, on the way home again. So, I don't know.
You need to get rid of that phobia.
Yeah, well, I think it's self-induced. It's because I always grew up. Well, I didn't grow up. I did grow up, but I didn't.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
It's still a judgment
mentally
call.
versus physically. I spent a lot of time as a junior riding with headphones in. You know, like 8 cassettes with me and stuff like that. I think I had more cassettes in my jersey pocket than I had food. And I remember doing that all the time. And then at one point, I remember just stopping and going, dude, that's really dangerous. Shouldn't do that. I turned into my father. And I just stopped doing it. And I didn't do it again until this year. And it's because of those headphones that I can actually... And you can't hear great. I mean, if I caught a couple people on trails and things like that, and they would say something to me, and I could not understand what they were saying. I could hear their voices, but I couldn't make out what they were saying. So... You know, I don't know if I want to say that they're super safe, but they're safer.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It was good.
So you can't really be a voyeur or eavesdrop.
No, not really. Yeah. A woman was saying something to me. She could have been saying, like, there's a bear around the corner. And I'd been like, hi.
I think she said she wants to see me bear.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah.
Lady, I'm very
still
mad.
got it. I still got it.
So, speaking of indoor training in Zwift, I do have to recap because we do have to make it official and I'm calling it the first annual uncensored Packfiller Virtual Cycling Challenge.
That's easy to remember.
I know. Yeah. I wanted to make it really long and stupid. We're going to take this as the official announcement. So, the last episode we talked about the course unveil and things like that, but just to let everybody know and keep them up to speed, I will be posting everything. I got to get it up there soon. I got to get it up like tomorrow.
What, November 30th is when we start?
Yeah.
Six whole days.
Should we
push it?
Push it?
Yeah, push it. Real good.
Nah. Well, let me look at a calendar here. I don't know. I mean, because, we haven't had a really big chance to push it. That would be this next Monday, a week from yesterday. Should we start on the 5th, which is a Saturday?
Yeah.
And that would take us, how many days did I say? 10? 14.
14 days.
14 days, 7 stages?
Yep.
So that would take us to the 19th, 5th through the 19th. So I'm writing this down, 12/5 through the 19th.
God, this year, we're
know,
almost in December. It feels like this year is not real.
Yeah.
No.
So 14 days to complete 7 stages. You must change temporarily your Strava and Zwift profile names to include the word Packfiller. Just during the attempts. You already did?
Yeah.
Shit, you're on fire, man.
Yeah.
Because I can't rank them if I can't find them. All stages must be posted to Strava. That's where I'm going to find the results because everything on the courses, I think, are included as Strava segments. So you won't have to, search it all out. I'm so fucked. I'm going to be sitting at a computer 6 weeks.
Why do you do that to yourself?
I don't know. I'm an idiot. You may ride with as many people as you want. I don't care. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Although you were saying, I still don't necessarily realize the drafting effect on Zwift.
It does. It does
don't
work.
feel
every day.
it.
Yeah.
I personally,
When I feel tardy.
whenever I'm on Zwift, I try and get away from people. But I think in this scenario, I mean, like every time I've done some sort of draft, it gives a little bit of help for
Yeah.
sure.
You'll see your watts per kilogram drop a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's so weird to back off on it. No, okay, I'll have to figure it out. I'm gonna have to learn because it's no better time than the present, right? No power ups. This is about riding, not video gaming. So that's one of the things. If any of you see Paul, and you say hi from Ohio Packfiller, is that what we said? Mm-hmm. Or hi Packfiller from Ohio. Basically, you have hi Ohio and Packfiller in the same sentence. You're entered into the drawing for the prize to win a pair of Gooder glasses and a Packfiller mask, which is a $50 value. That's right, people. Not screwing around. Research those routes. I'm going to be posting links to them for map directions. There's this website. It's not Zwift Power. I think it's Zwift Insider. I think that has all of them, and it's really good detailed stuff on that. Join the rides. I'm going to be posting. I guess this is what's so weird about this. I've had a lot of people asking me so far. It's like, is this like a race where you have to show up at a specific time? And I've been saying no, because the whole point of this is to be to fit your calendar, to fit your schedule, to fit your time zone.
And I think you voiced too the frustration when you tried to do like a scheduled ride. You did something on Zwift. You mentioned,
you
had to
Zwift,
be there at that
the
particular
Zwift Academy,
time.
yeah. Which
so
sucked.
we want to avoid that. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just going to basically be the equivalent of 7 kind of time trial efforts, but if you do them with a group, and that's what I was kind of getting to the point here is I mean, I'd be fine posting the times I'm going to do the rides. I'm not saying that people are going to be like, oh yay, I get to ride with Pat for a while, and then I drop him. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Would it be? I don't know. Should we? Do we want to schedule times in which we ride, or are you guys planning on it, or is it just going to be like, oh shit, this week's crazy, I don't know if I have the time?
Well, I mean, I've got a very specific class schedule, but I mean, like most middays for me are great, which I know is for the rest of
middays are brutal. Yeah. I don't know. So I guess I'll post them. I'll post when I'm going to do them, and I'll say I'm maybe a day in advance or something like that. I don't know. Are you guys planning on doing them 7 days in a row, or one on, one off?
How my schedule's
You don't know yet.
out.
Yeah.
I've got grandkids that come over and bother me.
Oh, little shits.
I know it.
Yeah. Stages breakdown, in case you didn't remember, or if you don't know how to read that. Yeah, I paused there because I burped, and you see it on the cameras now. The prologue, Fuego Flats Reverse, which is a 4.4 mile TT, dead flat. The road race is the Muir in the Mountain, which is 21.06 miles. That was the course you and I were on, and then we were logging off and trying to figure out what the hell's wrong with your thing. 1,700 feet of climbing. Circuit race is in Paul's favorite, New York. It's a 4-mile lap called the 6 Train. So you got to do 4 laps of that for 16 miles total. Next one is the Richmond Worlds Course. 10.8 miles each of 2 laps. So you got to do 2 laps of that. Does that make sense? The closest thing I could get to a crit was the Volcano Circuit, which is a 2.5 mile loop, and we're going to do it 6 times. I want to do that with people. That one, and maybe the circuit race for sure.
I just don't want to be lapped.
Oh yeah, 2.5 miles. Yeah, there's some people with like 6 computer sensors on their thing, and if you're gonna cheat at the Packfiller challenge, wow, just wow. That's really fucking sad. The next one is the Flying Sprint. This one, I mean, for those of you who are thinking it's going to take too much time to do this entire thing, the Flying Sprint is a 0.11 mile section in London. I just think it'd be fun to just go. And by the way, if you fall off your trainer, no, you can't get anything from me because you sprinted off your trainer. So I'm releasing all liability right now. And then finally is just a really, really stupid way to end it is the Epic KOM, 5.84 miles of the Watopia route.
God.
Yeah, that's steep.
Yeah.
We're going to be basically doing that twice because I think that's the one in the Mirror in the Mountain. So it's going to be steep.
Fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I have nobody to blame
No.
but me.
And in the volcano crit, no fans can be used.
Oh.
Because we're in the volcano.
Oh my God. You can just hear the
Terrible. Yeah.
right in your ears already.
Oh, shit. Prizes including from, I can't believe I got to announce this one, a Manscaped Perfect Package 3.0, $150 value. The Icy Paul Challenge with Gooder. Prizes from Giant Bicycles is back with shoes, with a helmet, with a torque wrench set, and I think a floor pump.
Wow.
I think that was the same thing. They doubled down and did it again for us this week. I mean, this time. And, of course, I've got some Packfiller masks, $25 a pop, but I'll send them to you for free if I can afford the shipping. Tell your friends, you guys. Heck, Doug from Gooder mentioned it the other day. And Doug did a little fireside chat on Instagram Live with Ashton Lambie.
Oh, really?
And I was watching it, and Doug said, hey, man, Packfiller's doing this whole Swift race. Ashton, you should do it. I'm like, oh, shit. If Ashton shows up, we're all screwed. Man. We're all Roger might even
He might be a little pissed off because didn't he didn't make the Olympic team?
He didn't. Yeah. He's been talking about shifting over, changing to more of gravel focus and things like that. I still think he should do the hour record.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool to see him do it. But
And you interviewed him.
I did. Yeah.
It's in the archives,
he
I'm
recalled. He knew about the Packfiller podcast.
Yeah.
Either that or he's just being nice to Doug. I will post everything tomorrow. And with the communication opportunity, I have a Discord account. But if you really want to listen to me breathing hard, I don't know. I should set up a 1-900 number for that. So do it, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So without further ado, let's, gentlemen, get to the news, right? What do I have? Where are my notes? There we go. This is the good news, feel good news. I'm going to start with the feel good news story of the day. Fabio Jacobson is back on the bike after 3 months after his Tour of Poland crash. Wow. Gave an update on his recovery from this career-threatening crash, posting a photo of himself to social media for the first time since the race. The Deceuninck Quick-Step suffered facial injuries when he crashed into the barriers on stage 1 of the race after Jumbo-Visma's Dylan Groenewegen had maneuvered into him and has since undergone several reconstructive surgeries. The start of the month, he said he hoped to get back on the bike before December, and he has met that goal. Tuesday afternoon, he posted a photo of himself and partner Dolores Tuge, and I'm sorry, Dolores, if I screwed up your last name, posing with their bikes during a ride. So, first of all, yay, great news, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where's my cheers sound effect? Everything's loud on this one today. Which is great to see. My questions are, in terms of that, and I don't know if we ever really sat down and talked about it, you guys, is about the crash itself and about that Groenewegen received a 9-month suspension in regards to his behavior. So first of all, thoughts on the crash, thoughts on the suspension, and if it was justified or too harsh. Anybody want to take a bite out of it? Big golden apple.
I'm happy that he's back. First of all, I'm happy he's able to get back on. It seems like Deceuninck Quick-Step's having a lot of very quick, no pun intended.
Evenepoel looks like he's freaking ready. He's lost his baby fat.
That's where I was. That's where I was going.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
exactly. Yeah. It seems like they're having a lot of really good, quick recoveries. I think Groenewegen got hit hard on this fine. I don't think he was walking away going, "Why the hell did Jacobson throw himself into the barriers and blame me for it?" I think he knows what he did wrong. I think if he were to get a punishment, I think it should have been less. I think we talked about a fine, maybe something like that. But like I said, I don't think Groenewegen's walking away blaming Jacobson in this scenario. Yeah.
Or is I wonder what I would like to know Jacobson's take on it also, but
Well, I think what they've done. I've seen more violent moves before, and it's just a disqualification or that type of thing. I think the UCI is trying to punish because of the damage that was done. They're weighing that punishment based on what had happened, in my opinion, on Jacobson. Had he got up and walked away, would it have been 9 months? That didn't look like because I've seen some pretty nasty, taking people out. Well, even Ackerman in the he got disqualified, but he just swept somebody's
go back
wheel,
to Peter Sagan and Cav.
Sagan got kicked out of the race, but no.
9 months suspension.
Yeah. And which also the way they have it scheduled, he's not going to be able to. Groenewegen's not going to be able to race till May.
Shit.
So,
yeah,
I think it's ridiculous. It's another UCI thing that they have a tendency on the severity of the crash on Jacobson. I think that's what they're basing their punishment off.
It feels like this year in particular, it could be because I'm paying closer attention or just because it's a weird year, but it seems like there's been a lot of weird UCI things, not only with fans, but also, with riders having their that type kind of protest in the Vuelta. It just seems like UCI is being looked at a little harder this year.
Yeah. I don't want to belittle the severity of what that guy went through. The crash was absolutely horrific. We could get into the fact that the safety of those barriers was absolute bullshit. I think the UCI should make it a standard that, the final 1K of a race is the equivalent of Thunderdome in terms of the structural integrity of the banners. You should be able to, bounce off of them. And those banners, they're made to keep you in play. The extent of his injuries were because he flew out of those banners and into other things. Groenewegen, I thought, is a dick move, but he had a fraction of a millisecond to make that decision. And those guys are flying. I don't know if they're just. I don't know. I don't sprint at that level, so I can't comment on the fact that I think they're making just instinctual decisions. I don't know if they're in that moment. It didn't seem malicious to the extent, but I don't know. And I'm sure there are people who are going to say bullshit. He's a prick and he did a prick move.
Well, I think if you're going to say that, Groenewegen is felt totally rotten about the whole deal.
Yeah.
That was not his intentions. It wasn't. At all costs type of thing. That is something that I think we've all done. If you race once or twice, is close the door or something of some degree. But I like your idea about the last K and having a standard. If the UCI can have a restriction on sock height, why can't they do the last kilometer of a race? I mean, because those barriers were barely. They're like just barely touching each other, and then that's
tied together at best. Yeah,
and so, I don't understand that, but I know how hard it is to put on a race and this tight budget, so you don't really want to blame the organizers. You don't want to punish them. They're going to just say, "Screw it, we can't afford these barriers." But maybe the UCI has kind of like what I know. This is so micro compared to macro, but like. Here in Washington State, the WSBA has a trailer of equipment that goes to races that you use these particular things. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's
or at least establish a minimum standard. And then have somebody. If you get somebody walking around with a heat gun on people's bottom brackets to see if they're too hot, that can't be cheap. And if you're paying a dude to measure sock height. You could probably pull back a little bit of that cash and maybe hire a dude to go around and shake some barriers a little bit in the final K and say, these aren't up to standard. We're not going to start the race until you get these up to standard. And then they can go find some people and grab some freaking C-clamps and pull them together or something like that and make the barriers that much more secure. I don't know. This doesn't seem like fucking brain science. Brain surgery. Sorry, brain science. Rocket science, brain surgery. I said brain science, which makes me look really stupid.
But you caught it.
I did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what
exactly.
matters.
I discovered my stupidity, and then I called myself out on it, and I am still doing such, which means hopefully I'm learning a lesson. Speaking of learning a lesson, Voldemort is mentioned again in the news today. Johan Brunel has claimed that Lance Armstrong would have been the strongest rider of his generation with or without doping, and he once again disputed USADA's assertion that his I'm even getting pissed reading the copy, that his U.S. Postal team had run the most sophisticated, professionalized, and successful doping program in the history of the sport. According to Johan himself, Lance's character was assassinated. This collective demonization is easy to do, but impossible to undo. It's hard to take, especially as there are a lot of hypocrisy, Brunel told Eurosport. With or without doping, in all the history of cycling, every big champion was always the best of his generation, and Lance wasn't an exception to the rule. Tell me what changed in cycling after Lance? Nothing. Gentlemen, thoughts on Mr. Brunel's commentary on if Lance should be classified as the strongest. Did he say strongest? The strongest rider of his generation with or without doping.
Well, we're never going to know because he doped. So it doesn't matter what he thinks.
Very good point. Very good point. But yeah.
Well, I think there is a bit of truth. There's a bit of truth to it. Now, Bill Burr, who's probably not so popular, but comedian.
Yeah.
He was on Conan, and he said, I don't understand why people are making a big deal about this. He goes, like, everybody else which is true, everybody else was doping. It just said, our guy had better roids than you, and it's true. I would never classify him. I think he was not the strongest. I think he was the smartest. Yeah. And that's part of his smartness was part of his evil too. He's a freaking asshole, without a doubt. But I think he, bike sense and stuff, he's someone to admire. It's too bad it's attached to a stinky asshole.
Is he being punished more severely simply because he's an asshole?
Yeah, and I think it goes back to Groenewegen too, because of it's like the devastation it did for the sport. UCI's like, okay, you screwed me over. I'm going to punish you. Mm-hmm. I mean, one of my favorite riders is well known, like Ulrich. And how about all the guys that had to testify against him? They all got 6 months. And they were all on the verge of retiring anyway. Yeah. So, I think that's a reflection of the UCI. And I don't like the guy. I don't want anybody to think I like him at all. But if you want to be truthful, he had great bike sense, and he worked hard, and he had the best drugs. Yeah. So,
And on this whole point of like him being like extra demonized or overly demonized, it's like, you can only make that excuse to a point, because I don't know. I don't think only one person is calling him a dick. I think everybody is. So if everybody's calling you a dick after a little while, you gotta wonder, maybe it's not. Maybe it is me. So I mean, over the years, everybody's thought it. So it's gotta be true.
I agree. And it's his behavior. What he did to me, he should be demonized because the people's lives that he destroyed by suing them and discrediting them.
Yeah.
There's no reason why he shouldn't be. If you just take all that away, like you could use the example like Wagner. He was a great composer, but he was a frickin', anti-Semitic piece of shit. Yeah. So, but did he write good music? Yeah, you can't say he didn't. A lot of people like his music. So, same thing. The guy raced smart. He did a lot, and he had a lot of drive. But he was he's a nasty human being.
Yeah. So, Does he stay in the record books with a asshole asterisk next to his name?
That would be
I
awesome.
just came up with that right now. I want credit for it.
And a
Everybody
scratch and
sign somebody
sniff.
says,
What's this thing? Scratch. Oh,
"Oh, I was like
Make
Lance
it even
Armstrong's
worse.
asshole."
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I want to close the book on it, but I know that I can't because it's one of those dark topics that is always going to haunt the sport, and it's always going and his name is always going to be a part of it, no matter what happens. I loved watching those fucking races, and it, you know,
I still, I mean, when
keep
I'm on the
bringing it
rollers, I still watch those, not just exclusively, but I watch those Tour de France,
Yeah.
even his. Because,
great races.
Yeah, they were. They were fun to watch. You know, somebody going up Alpe d'Huez at 20 miles an hour, which you can't do.
Oh my god.
No, actually, I think it's Pantani did average 17, I think it was.
Did
Or
he
maybe it was
fucking
Montfort
really?
too. One of the two. It's like unreal
insane.
speed. Yeah.
Oh my
So-
god! Oh my god! I can't go up Pettit at that
I know.
pace, and people don't know what Pettit is. But what do you say? It's like
It's, I think,
3%, 4%?
4, yeah,
yeah for
a kilometer.
yeah. Okay, team news, everybody. In case you don't know about what's happening in the world of team transfer news, yes, I want to talk about mountain biking and gravel racing, but try finding news in the cycling world this time of year, everybody. And if you find better news, send it to me or shut the fuck up. Team news, ASOS saves the day. They saved the asses of NTT Pro Cycling. It's now Quebeca ASOS and continues. And that is such good news to know that a team has been saved from the guillotine. Simon Clark from Education First has been signed on with a couple more riders, which surprises me that they're able to obtain riders at this point. It scares me for their future because if you're, no offense to Simon Clark, but I think Simon Clark's been at it for a while, and I think that's unfortunately what we're going to be looking at. I mean, says a 50-year-old guy standing behind a
I'm sure
microphone
he's
thinking
the road
he knows
captain,
what he's talking about.
Hired as
Yeah.
a road, just like Mitch Docker on EF, which I don't even know if he's got a contract next year with them. But
Yeah. But thank God they're there. Other transfer news, Miguel Angel Lopez signed with Movistar from Astana, which is now Astana A.
What?
Because there's
Yeah.
a Canadian company involved with them now.
Oh.
It's not.
I thought it was,
it's not
yeah,
A.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's Bahrain. Did you hear their second?
No.
Victorious or something, victory or victorious.
Really?
I don't know if it's a joke or not, but I heard it. I'm like, what?
I really wanted that purple kit. The guys who were the really sketchy guy who was gonna take over Movistar, not Movistar, Mitchelton Scott, who was gonna take over that. That was so. I remember reporting on that. And I showed you guys the jersey. We were like, the fuck?
Yeah.
Looked like the old junior team kit we put together with the lilacs on it. Remember that one?
Never forget that.
Yeah,
That was-
that's Chris Lucas came up with that design. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Dude. Just missed a little bit there. EF Pro Cycling signs Will Barta.
Yeah.
So Will's got another year from the CCC collapse. So good to see those things happening within the transfer world. Paul, you said. No, was I going to talk about that here? Oh, I'll talk about that in a minute because you had news when we were talking about some of the stuff about in terms of equipment and gear going out and things like that, which I'm anxious to hear from. But before we get to the topic of the show, gentlemen, support for the Packfiller Podcast comes from Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Paul is stripping right now to show his Manscaped logo, and I got that on camera. Perfect timing. I don't think I have the underwear on.
I don't want to see
don't.
that.
Nobody needs to.
And you're currently stripping in a different way.
Yeah.
I am. Yeah, exactly. Jingle balls to the walls, fellas. Listen up. Untrimmed pubes are a thing of the past. It is time to gear up and get yourself the gift of shaving this holiday season. I am talking about the Manscaped Perfect Package 3.0. And you guys, this is the time. You know that absolute lunacy where people are kicking the shit out of each other outside of Walmart because it's the day after Thanksgiving? And they're like going, I need to get to this. And they're just, fuck you. I don't care about anybody but, 25% off. Well, guess what? You can go to manscaped.com and get 25% off on Black Friday. And that is better than the 20% off you can get from using the code PFP. But I think if you still log in PFP, there might be a little something in it for you. Or the people at Manscaped will go, wow, the Packfiller Podcast sent that this way. They get more creds. We need more. We need a street rep for representing.
Yep.
I sound so fucking old when I try to say stuff like that. But we need more people to use PFP. So Manscaped goes, wow, they're awesome. I think I'll do things like give them a full 3.0 kit for the race we're putting together. You guys complain about sponsors and bike races. Hey, go patronize the people who, not patronize. It's funny that my name is Pat and I get that word wrong. Go throw some shekels at them. Yeah. And because everything's good. It's affordable. It's super high quality. And don't use the same trimmer on your face as you're using on your balls. That's just nasty.
No, bad smell.
Yeah. So get 20% off, or in this case, 25% off and free shipping when you use the code PFP at Packfiller at manscaped.com. That is 20% off and free shipping. PFP. Clean up your nuts and make Santa proud this year.
Nice.
Another read, mildly successfully done. Let's talk change, gentlemen. This is my topic for the day. I want to talk about trends. I want to talk about styles. I want to talk about behaviors and the ability to be open and flexible. For example, the pants my son are wearing right now, I probably would never make an attempt to try and wear.
I like them.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to?
Let me see if I can get you on cam. Now they seen your butt there.
Clench the butt.
You got kind of like a Pete Davidson who isn't on drugs thing going on right now.
I'm proud of what I wear.
Right?
You know?
No, I'm not good. I'm not busting your
I know.
balls. It's just, well, that was a little busting your balls.
At least they're cleanly shaved balls.
There we go. That's a tie-in.
Yeah.
Nice.
Clothes have always been my thing, though. You know.
Mm-hmm. And that's where it's trends, and all of us tend to be a little grumpy in our older age, or you tend to be more open-minded in your younger ages. And so I kind of wanted to bring up. I put this out there on social media, and I got some responses, and I also got some smart asses. And so we'll talk about some of the smart asses, but we'll also. I can't put anything on social media out there without getting a smart ass because I reap what I sow. So that's what you're going to deal with. So I've got categories of ideas or things that have come about within the last years that have changed the sport or are changing the sport or could be thought of as changing the sport or not, or are really fucking stupid and we hope they go away, just like Scott drop-in bars did or something like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw them out there, and I want your guys' opinion on them, and we can laugh, we can argue, we can throw shit at each other, just as long as it isn't Paul's glass, because he's pouring perfect beers tonight. First off, the idea that if it isn't on Strava, it didn't happen. That is something that has come to extreme popularity now. I find myself, before I leave for a ride, turning on 4 different computers, starting 3 different things. Okay, is my Whoop paired to this? Is this paired to this? I got to start Strava here. I get home and 4 things have posted to Strava, and I have to delete 3 of them because I don't want those ones up, and then I got to make sure the one's there, and then I got to rename it. Gentlemen, I present to you, if it isn't on Strava, it doesn't happen. Is that a good thing, a bad thing? Do you like it, or do you accept it, or is it goddamn go away, get off my lawn?
I think I don't know. I am always a person that posts everything on Strava. I try and sometimes break free of that. Like I was saying last week, my car was in the shop for 2 weeks, so I had to commute everywhere on my bike. So I didn't post any of those to Strava, which was a weird thing to me. But I kind of tried to break free from that, just because it's like you got to bring your computer, you got to do all this stuff. And
I've seen people post commutes on Strava,
and I've done it myself.
Yeah.
But when you do it so much, it's just like. It's kind of not worth it. So I think I subscribe to that, but I also think if you don't want to show everybody what you've done, you don't have to. I don't know. I guess that's not really answering the question.
No, I see what you're saying. Paul Main?
I think it's a personal thing. I
don't give a shit about personal things. I want to know your personal thing.
My personal thing is, here it comes.
Anger.
And bitterness. I think that Zwift should not be on there. I don't understand. That's just, that's a personal thing. You're training by yourself, and just like all social media, some people out there just want a pat on the back. That's not why I Strava my stuff. Now, I did Strava my commute back in the day because I would do that every day, but that was to set a base. So then I would record, delete, because it was just, and I use Strava for my own personal record. And that's it.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. And so commuting, some days I don't feel like chasing this, slam it, see how well I did on that commute or not. Zwift is, there's times where I've got to answer the door, get off, and it's a form of keeping my legs turning over. It's not something I'd log or even interest in my numbers at all, except when I'm trying to calibrate my stinking snap. When I'm riding next to you and you're like, so what's your problem? I'm fucking I can't breathe.
I only do my Zwift rides, I think, when I'm too lazy to. I don't know. I think I do my Zwift rides, but I usually don't. It's not like I'm doing them. I swear I'm not doing it to get attention. I promise. That's why I have a podcast. I don't do the Zwift for attention. I do a podcast for attention because I'm shallow. Speaking of which, got to turn the camera back to me. But a lot of those things, I actually like what Whoop does with those, because then I can actually look and it'll show me my efforts and my heart rate and stuff like that. I don't give a shit how many miles I covered necessarily on indoor rides. And with, I don't know, I do find myself sometimes, I always check that's kind of my post-ride activities. I just go into the living room, or in the summer I'll sit out on the deck and I'll just scroll through my Strava just because it's fun. But I don't necessarily obsess over it. I know I'm never going to get a KOM on anything anymore. I'm past that point.
That is a thing that I'm starting to get weird about on Zwift. Mm-hmm. I'll see a KOM and I'll go full gas. I will go all out for it, and I'll go so hard that for the rest of the Zwift ride, my legs are done. But I don't know why.
Sometimes that's not a bad thing. That's a good way to go out and push yourself. On a bike ride.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I think there's some good things about it. I think, unfortunately for me, I don't go on it looking at other people. The only time I go on it is when I do something, and then there's a lot of people give you the thumbs up thing or whatever it is, And then I feel like, oh, this is what I have to do. I start scrolling through all these people that are following and give them a thumbs up on their ride.
Do you really?
Yeah, because there's a little bit of
bother with that shit.
I do. I mean, sometimes I like to know, hey, I would like to see what you guys are doing, and even the people I do follow. Sometimes I'm curious what they do, but I don't think about it during the day. I wonder what CP's doing. I better get on there. I mean, that's just not my deal.
That's CP's deal.
It might be. I don't know.
Come on. I could say that on the show. He would agree to it. Yeah.
Well, he's an engineer, so it's all about numbers. He's calculating.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the KOMs, in the early day where you're at, that's the way, I had because hardly anybody was on it in Spokane, and it's it's pretty slim herd.
Yeah.
And so I had pages, and then pretty soon people would beat me, and I'm thinking, all right, now how did they do that? And you watch one character just keep hitting that same hill until he beat me.
Oh, really?
And then that gives me a satisfaction because my KOMs are always on a training ride. I've done
wow, really? I never look at the.
Yeah,
shit.
That was back when a lot of people were trying to snipe and that type of thing.
Wow.
But nowadays, I probably have maybe 8 or 10 left. And if you look at the dates, there's way back.
Yeah.
And I share a lot with quite a few guys. But if anybody when I get my email, it says, "Oh, somebody just beat your KOM," it's I'm 57. I'm never going to get that back. It's good for them. Thumbs up.
Okay. Next trend, style, behavior, and our ability to be open. And I put this one out there. The growth of bags on bikes. I'm seeing a lot of frame bags, handlebar bags, extra bottle mounts on people. Phil Guyman is doing this. He's going out with his frame bag, not a frame bag, a handlebar bag on rides.
Is it full of cookies?
I'm
Does he hand
assuming.
out cookies?
I'm assuming, but who are these people? Is my worst Seinfeld impression in the world. But you nodded, Jackson. You nodded immediately right out of the gate. You're like, yeah.
I love them. I don't know why. I think I mean I want one personally.
Because you live in Portland?
It could be that,
Yeah.
but no, see the thing is I wanted one before that. I've always I don't know why. I think
What would you put in one?
for instance, when I did my road race for the classic, I would have loved to have had a handlebar bag in that situation, because on a long ride like that, being self-sufficient and not, especially now, not having to go to like a store or like make contact with a lot of people is kind of nice, especially how you can just keep going and you don't have to stop, add more time, you're out and everything. And also I don't know, I like the ease of use. I think with these extra, like you said, bottle cages, for instance. I remember Ted King when he did that big 350 miler earlier in, I think, May.
Yeah.
He had an extra bottle cage. And it just, I think,
This is talking about rides that are much more epic in distance,
yeah.
right? You're not going to just go throw one on there and go out and do an hour and a half.
No, I don't know if I would, just because it's you in those type of rides, you're not going to go that far from home to a point where you're going to need a bag. I get that some people like them because they don't want to use their jersey pockets, or they don't have a jersey, for instance. So that could be,
Yeah.
Or they have too many cassette tapes.
there you go.
Yeah.
That's a callback joke.
And
So let me ask you, at what point would you put a bag on? I mean, what length? Like a 3-hour ride? Would you like a bag? Or 4-hour? Or
Yeah, see, dipping into that, I would only for specific terrains as well.
Mhm.
Like if I was on my gravel bike, if I was dipping into that late 3-4 hour kind of area, that's when I would do it. Just because it's on your gravel bike, that's a long time to just be jarred around a lot, and you kind of want to have that around, and it takes longer, It takes longer to get places when you're going slower.
And
like
you are
that.
out in the middle of nowhere most
yeah,
times.
so that all
Exactly.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Especially gravel rides. You look at like Justin Short.
Justin is I have so many things I could say about Justin. That guy's handlebars look like he's homeless, man.
And-
He's got
and
so much shit on his
Third
bike.
eye.
Oh, that's the other thing I was going to ask about, but and I'll get to that. But yeah.
But I think if
I
you're,
love the dude, but
yeah, he's
Jesus,
a gas.
tap dancing. Christ, you've got way too much on your bike, dude. He brings a coffee grinder on his bike.
Well, you
rides.
never know. Yeah,
That's
you're
true.
out in the boons.
Yeah.
and, Well, I could see if that's your type of riding. Yes, if it's, that's just not my style of riding. There's no reason.
Yeah.
Everything that I need, I've got my cell phone. I've got some bills for some coffee.
Yeah.
CO2, tire levers. What else? I mean, that's all I need, even for a 4-hour, 6-hour ride. But I'm on roads.
Yeah.
But if
Exactly.
I'm on a gravel and I think I know where I'm heading, I'm gonna load the fuck up my bike with bags and shit and food and bananas.
Road flares.
Yeah, road flares.
One of those
Yeah.
shiny metal space blankets.
Maybe a CB radio.
Yeah.
Breaker.
Global sat phone.
Yeah.
I always thought about that with Tom Hanks in the movie Castaway. I always thought that one box he didn't open probably had like matches and a satellite phone in it.
I know it.
Fucking
It's like,
idiot.
son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I spent all that time with Wilson.
Yeah, exactly. How about the mentality these days of this go big or go home, these epic rides, where everything seems to be, and I'm leaning towards my friend Justin again. The guy can't go out and just do an easy ride. Everything he does is over 100 miles.
Oh,
and
easy,
stuff like
yeah.
that. The guy's just. I'm busting your balls, Justin, because you're a stud, dude, but you're crazy. This mentality that everything has to be these huge epic rides. And number one, your thoughts on that. Number two, how short of a ride is still classified as a ride. And number 3, are people only doing these huge rides because they want to post them to Strava? Those are my 3 questions for the go big or go home category. You can pick 1, 2, or 3.
I think the big rides are. I think a lot of the times when a lot of people think that all you have to do is a big ride to get fit, I think that's kind of like kind of an old school way of thinking a little bit. I think a lot of shorter intensity rides are going to get you there. Mind you, we might not be talking about how to gain fitness. I think, I'm a type of person that is not going to go out and like tomorrow get up at 5 a.m. and slam out 100 miles. That's just not what I'm going to do. I think it's very dependent on your schedule, but if you want to go out and do that, big up to you. I think it's really cool. I really like this new era of bike packing and bringing your
That was one of my next things was bike packing too. So keep going.
Okay, because I was going to say that I think it's really cool. I think it's a great way of seeing how a human can be self-sufficient on something that's not a gas-powered, electric-powered vehicle. I think it's really interesting to see that, and I think people are finding it pretty cool too. But yeah, I think if you want to do that, spend some time.
That wasn't
perfect timing.
Actually, that kind of worked out.
But no, I think it's cool. If you're only doing it to show off, I think that's kind of weird. But
you don't think there's a little bit of vanity in everything we do, though?
I mean,
when you pull off a huge epic ride and you post it to Strava, there's not a little bit of a fuck yeah, I want to show off.
Oh God, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I'm a theater major that shaves his legs. Of course, I'm a vain person.
Well,
but
yeah. I mean, and that's
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. So, Paul, there was a lot to bite off there.
Yeah. Well, I think if people they enjoy that, that's fine. If they enjoy these epic long rides, to me, it's too close to camping. I absolutely despise camping since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I freaking hate it. But there's people who like motorcycles and some like MotoGP. Yeah. I mean, it's just everybody's out there.
But I've done I consider an epic ride still a 4.5, 5 hour ride is epic, and I've done some of those with you.
Yeah,
and I mean,
you're thrashed at the end of it, and that's some people don't want to do our speed. They're like, you didn't even notice that rufous-sided towhee perched up on blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's like, but that doesn't interest me. But somebody who's backpacking or bike packing and stuff, they're gonna stop and look at nature and make an espresso.
See, I think some of the bike packers are now actually turning into these badasses who are trying to do stuff epic and fast. Where it's like, I'm doing the entire West Coast or West Coast of Oregon, but I want to do it in 4 days or something like that.
Did you see what your buddy Ted King, who you did interview?
Yeah.
Cool.
Cha-ching, where's my $sign? But I can't find it in time.
Okay.
But also on the podcast.
Over 1,000 miles in 4 days, all self-supportive. That's impressive stuff. To me, I stand back and like going, that's pretty cool.
See what it did to him? The guy looks like he went through a prize fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that has no interest. I give zero shits to go in there. It never would cross my mind to do it. But for the same token, there's probably somebody listening to this podcast thinking to travel down to Utah at altitude and do a Masters national race and get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Stupid.
But that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So
how short of a ride how long does a ride have to, what's the minimum amount of distance a ride has to be counted as a ride?
20 miles for me.
20 miles.
Yeah, I can't do less than 20.
Okay, Jackson.
I mean, if I constitute going to the store as a ride. Like, I've as long as I get out, I count it as a ride because being a college student, you don't have much time. So if I get on a bike, I consider it a ride at this point.
I guess with that clarification, that's a ride, but Strava worthy, I wouldn't record it.
Yeah. Okay. I've always thought it was 45 minutes. That has always been my minimum. That has gone down by 15 minutes since I was a cyclist.
Because you're getting older.
Yeah, it was always an hour was the shortest amount of distance you could go out and actually consider it not a ride, but a training ride, I guess, because there was always some objective at the end of it. And so I always thought that a training ride had to be at least an hour. And those are the rest days when Eddie would say, Monday's hour.
Yeah.
Stop crying. Yeah.
Pet.
Pet.
Fart.
Pet. Okay. I was going to consider this one, and this is, I guess this is the fads, just in terms of what we're looking at in terms of componentry and gearing. And this is where, Paul, you were talking about before the show started. I was reading an article just recently about a new Campy gravels kit where, first of all, it's 1x. Everything's going to 1x. And then the smallest cog in the back is a 9-tooth cog. And I was thinking to myself, are we going to get to the point someday where road bikes are 1xs? If you have 12, 13 gears, if you have 13 gears in the back that can go from a 9 to a dinner plate, are we ever going to get to that point? But anyway, I guess my question is in talking about in terms of the equipment fads and the new gear and this kind of stuff. And I mean, when is too much? When are we going to hit that point? I don't know if that's that was a question.
I mean, I guess first of all, I'm a big lover of 1x. I think the maintenance, good God, is practically zero. You don't have to worry about a front derailleur. It's pretty nice to have. And I mean, we're already seeing road bikes shifting to that 1x setup. I don't know if there's ever too much, in my opinion. I like to push it as far as we can possibly go. I think
good. You're the future consumers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where it goes. If we've got a dinner plate on the back, you're gonna save your knees. I guess that's the way I look at it. I think innovation's really cool. So,
if you got like 14 gears in the back, I mean, when are we going to get to the point where they can't fit anymore? The chains are too small, and
you have to reinvent the whole design of a bike.
Yeah,
yeah. To me, it's like I don't care about the size or gears if there's one, because I basically do a 1x anyway when I ride. So,
you were talking about good on your knees.
Yeah,
he's not good on
not
your
so much.
Yeah.
But because my purpose and what got me into riding bikes and that keeps my juices flowing is amateur bike racing, and that having a 9 and up to a dinner plate, there's too many gaps in between. Even with 12, 13, 14, there's still going to be a part. That gear cluster is so nice to have, especially in racing, just to have that one gear jump. As opposed to, I remember back when my first 6-speed in a crit, and I'm like, oh, too much, know, and then shift down from a 17 to a 15. It's like, I need that 16. I'm hovering around, So, and that's the same comes with my total hatred towards disc brakes, because somebody like me who's going to make that trip down to the Masters Nationals, knowing that if I get a flat, travel all this way, set up my vacation, burn my vacation time, everything, go down to Masters Nationals. I get a flat and I can't get a wheel change because I run a 160
or you get a bad rotor,
or something, blah blah blah. Wheel changes are a big thing. I want to continue to race. I want to go down there. I'm spending the money. I want to finish, but I don't want to sit on the side of the road and say, well, fuck, I shouldn't have ran 140s in the back instead of 160, or Or that's the thing, the interchangeable thing, that gives me kicks. But I realize that that's probably less than 1% of the people who are into bikes. So therefore, I'm a dinosaur. So,
but what you're saying makes sense.
Yeah, I think disc brakes will.
Right, Jackson? Am I wrong? Does this make sense? I mean, I know I'm trying to split the generations here. I mean, to what he's saying about going down and racing and having one set of wheels and a set of wheels in the car, and if those wheels are wheels in, wheels out, and somebody gave them out, you're fucked. I mean, that's a lot to.
Yeah. See, I guess my thought process is if I'm going to go race and I get a flat, like,
Yeah.
it's, it is what it is at that point. Like, that's what bike racing is. You're going to, like, it's going to happen. It's unpredictable.
But it shouldn't be the end of the race, though.
If I'm going to be honest, if I'm going to change my wheel, it's going to take about 15 years to do it. So
Well,
no matter what.
usually you have somebody come up and do
Yeah,
it for you.
Yeah.
So
I'm saying.
you can
I-
lose like I have actually came back in a race with the less than 8 miles to go into the race with a bad free hub in the back of my wheel. Got a wheel change, bridged back up, and got third place.
I don't know. I think I've always been a person that's so used to just being like, I've got one set of wheels, and we were talking about this. I remember
Yeah.
we talked about this in a former
Yeah.
podcast about how like your wheels would go into my bike
Yeah.
at that moment.
Yeah.
But like I've always in that mindset of this is my only set of wheels. I like
A flat and it's over.
yeah. That's
Wow.
that's always been everything. Every time I go to a race, if I flat, well, there will be other races and
Wow.
other days. I guess that's where I've always been for some reason.
Yeah, but and I see your point, but the thing is, the joy of cycling when I got into it was I knew that you never stop. You can always finish a race. It was always there, even if it wasn't your wheel. There was a period in the early '80s
Yeah.
where I didn't have a second set of wheels, but I could take anybody's wheels.
Yeah.
They
Wheels in, wheels out.
Yeah.
is what was
Well,
the-
it wasn't even wheels in, wheels out.
Oh,
like
it's
in the
just
Washington Trust
neutral.
Classic, we had neutral support. Mavic was around. I worked with Mavic when they were here doing the Nationals, Masters Nationals, and it didn't matter. We went in there, and I made a couple of wheel changes and stuff. And that guy who traveled, he was actually from Tennessee, that made a wheel change, and I talked to him afterwards to get the wheel back. And he said, "Yeah, thank you very much. I was able to finish it." What a heck of a travel for somebody. And I think that's the unfortunate thing. But I realize I'm realistic that amateur racing is such a small part. But these advances in nothing's compatible and disc brakes and all that kills that part that I hold close to myself. So
I will say, sorry to kind of keep going on. To
That's
this,
all
but,
right.
like,
Yeah.
I think what we're going to see is slowly but surely Paul's plague of disc brakes will take over. Tough time to talk about plagues. But
Oh, yeah. That was terribly good.
thanks.
but I think eventually we will. It'll be hard to find someone with a pair of rim
Without
brakes.
a doubt. I
Oh,
agree
God, yeah.
100%.
It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
eventually one day you're in a race and you flat, there will be 15 other sets of disc brake wheels in that car.
Yeah.
So it'll take its time, but I think eventually.
Oh my
it'll
God!
but they
Can
don't-
you imagine throwing on a disc brake wheel onto a rim brake bike?
Yeah, that would
If
be
it, first of all, would
That's not
it
even
fit?
possible.
It wouldn't
First of
work.
all, would it fit? Second of all, what that brake pads would do damage to that rim?
Well, even
Oh.
even if we get to the point where everybody has disc wheels, we're not there yet. Even within the team, like in the pro teams, they have problems with alignment of discs
Yeah.
in there. So there's a lot of flaw in that. There's going to be a huge amount of advancement, and by that time, I'm going to be 70. And hopefully I'll go to the Nationals and I'll have it figured out and I'll be on disc brakes.
All right.
Yeah.
My last one in this category was, and this one just came out of my own ass. This was just an idea I get. This is my cycling club mentality, okay? How I pitched you guys the cycling club one. Okay. This is a trend I think would be interesting. And I've been thinking about this for years when we have our area races and stuff like that. Would you pay for a season pass of racing? Let's say there's a local organization that does 10 to 15 races over a season, all different styles and distances. If you paid a monthly fee as a member, let's say $10 a month. Let's say the races are $30 a pop. But you get into those races for free. What this is doing is it's guaranteeing the race promoter that some people are going to show. Gives them that startup cash. But it also guarantees you a free entry fee, okay? So, that's likely around a $300 value for $120. That's if you were to do all 10 to 15 races. Plus you get swag and you get discounts from being a member of this so-called club, okay? No team affiliation whatsoever. And if you think about it, doing the number, if you raced 4 of the 10 to 15 races, you would race for free for the rest of the season. I've been a skier forever, and we've bought season passes at our ski resort. And it always was believed that if you skied like 20 days that season, you were skiing for free for the rest of the season. You paid off your pass by attending those days if you were to buy a ticket every day. If a area organization put together 10, 12, 15 races, and all you had to do was pay the equivalent, or even just a flat rate of $120 for the season pass, would you do that?
Why haven't we thought of this before? Because it is pretty expensive to go and race, and then also, you don't have a U.S. cycling license? Here's another extra X amount of money. So it's like, this is a great idea, in my opinion. I would so do it. It takes away a lot of the hassle.
I think it's a brilliant idea. Somebody like the WSBA, for those people who want to do these races. And the thing is, if you don't make it, if you don't put skin in the game, and I'm notorious for not pre-registering because I don't know what's going to happen in my life. And then if I, trying to get the money back, although they'll send it back and blah, 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 all that hassle, I don't have to deal with it. But then I have skin in the game. If all of a sudden I paid $300 for the year, or let's say $1 a day, $365, and this is the block of races that they sponsor.
Yeah.
Then I can pick and choose. It's like, well, I didn't make it this weekend because I had to put a new door on the she shed or something like that. So that way I'll alter that one, as opposed to waiting to the last minute, seeing how my life plays out. I like that idea.
Or if even worst case scenario, if you're the race director, you put on an event and all these people have prepaid, you're still gonna cover your nut. You're gonna be okay.
Yeah, you got
even
money
if these people never show up. And there are going to be some people who spend the entire amount and do 2 races that year, and they can write it off as a tax or whatever, something like that, as a donation. But they still have the security of knowing they could do the races if they wanted to. I don't know. This was my most recent idea.
Cycling, it's been around too long, and I feel like not too long. I'm not saying we need to get rid of it.
Yeah. Time for some.
Yeah. All right, let's talk baseball.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this has never been thought of. So we've been doing this. I feel like everybody's been doing this whole skiing thing for so long.
I wanted to talk to the local club that puts on our Twilight series for years about saying, why don't you guys sell a season pass?
Yeah. I think they tried that.
I would give you $300 right now to know I didn't have to fill out all the paperwork, do everything for every race, just walk up, pin my number on, and sign in.
Yeah.
You know how many? I think cyclists would love that.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. That's my most recent idea.
That was a good one.
There you go. So okay, you guys are saying you're onto it. So I just need some big banker to come out and give me them.
Banker.
Okay. We always like to end with fun, and I sometimes struggle to find fun things. It's 2020.
Yeah.
Find fun. Everything fucking sucks. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call these cycling icebreaker questions. I have taken a list. I searched of all the greatest icebreaker questions. The horrible icebreakers. It's like everybody get together and fall to your left and somebody has to catch you. Yay! And that kind of a thing. But I've changed them to actually mean something about something cool. Hence cycling. So, I have several of them. I don't, in the essence of time, I will add or subtract as we go here. So, gentlemen, and you got to answer pretty quickly because this is an icebreaker, and there are people judging you and people who really want to get to know you. This is like the Tinder of cycling. No, it's more of a grinder.
Swipe left.
Swipe. Yeah, it checks. It's like my dad said grinder. Gentlemen, if you were a race food, what would you be?
Fig Newton.
Paul would be a Fig Newton.
A gel, quickly digestible.
Oh, these are almost pickup lines.
Yeah.
I would be one of those old Nature Valley granola bars because I've been doing this way too long. And
it's all dry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Remember the crunchy ones?
Yeah.
Where you inhale them? Gentlemen, if you were to go to the tour if you knew you couldn't come back for at least 3 months, would you still do it?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah.
Kidding?
Fuck
I'd ride my bike around there. Jesus. Who wouldn't?
We got a yes on all?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah.
If you were mistaken for a famous cyclist, what cyclist would that be? If somebody would be like, hey, are you...
The lead character in Breaking Away.
You would be Dave Stoller. Yeah, Paul gets that all the time. I got to switch to that camera.
And Peter Waning is another one. People.
Yeah, that's
with the helmet
so
on.
old school.
Alex Howes, maybe?
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. That's the only one I can really think of.
I'm like a pale, retired Guido Bontempi.
Went right over his head.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are very few people who listen to the show who's going to understand that one. If you were given the nickname of an animal, a cycling nickname of an animal, for example, Bernardi knows the badger, what would your animal be, your cycling nickname?
Ox.
The ox?
Just plowing along.
That's kind of how you ride, dude.
Yeah,
you get to the front and you're just like,
driving through.
wow. I never thought about that.
I think the rabbit. I've got a burst.
You had a burst.
I feel like I ride in bursts.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think to add on to my ox thing,
Yeah.
I'm usually sacrificed too. So, just saying.
See, I don't have one. I came up with these questions and I don't have one.
Panda bear. You're not. Yeah. Everybody's always so cute and cuddly, and he's like, "Leave me the fuck alone."
Yeah.
That's,
Okay.
yeah,
I'll go with that.
that's how I went with it.
What is the most embarrassing thing you have ever done on a bicycle? We might have covered this one in a previous show.
Yeah, I don't know if I can.
Worn arm covers that are my dad's arm size on my legs.
That's your most embarrassing?
I don't know what it is.
Oh, that's not embarrassing. That's embarrassing for your father, but not you.
Well, I wore at a race. I forgot my shorts, and I had to wear somebody's soiled shorts. And I mentioned that. It was a clammy shammy situation.
Most embarrassing thing? Jeez.
Did you wet yourself? No, that was Jack.
That was Jack. Jack did
yeah.
that. Yeah. I have done the pea stain, something like that. We had a team that we rode for, which with red shorts.
Yeah.
And if you let a little dribble out, it was like a window to your faith. Everybody understood what religion based you were. And I can't believe I didn't come up with my own responses to these questions, but I'd love to hear what people think about this. What cycling movie would you most like to have been a character in?
I guess the only one I've ever seen is Breaking Away.
You'd want to be.
I also really liked that movie. So.
Premium Rush, you were a big fan when you were young.
Might have to take it back. I remember when I first watched that movie, I thought it was so cool,
You did.
so I would so choose that one.
You do
I
Premium
love
Rush.
that movie.
Yeah.
You Breaking Away.
I was going to say, Paul, you can't just pick Stars and Water Cars.
Only because I can. When I watched that, I remember thinking, I want to race in Europe. I want to go to, and he was so excited when the Italians, Mama, Papa, the Italians are coming, and they fucked him over. And that's how my life goes. It's like, I think it's going to be really great, and then somebody sticks a pump in my spokes,
or you lose the camera.
Yeah, or lose the camera. Fuck.
Yeah, my baby. I would 1,000% be American Flyers. There was so much cheese in that movie.
Yeah, it was cheese.
And it was just, I first of all, I'd want to be an extra in the filming of the movie, but then I would want to be a character in the movie. Fuck, that's the cyclist I look like. If I grow my beard, I'm the Russian guy.
What's his name?
Belov. Sergei Belov. That's me.
Belov.
That's the cyclist I most resemble. Jackson has no idea.
I haven't seen the movie yet.
We're watching it this Thanksgiving
There we go.
break. We have to. You have to see this. Oh
Marcus,
my God.
I taught you that trick.
I'm a terrible father if I haven't just made you sit down and watch that movie.
He's going to really think you're terrible after you have seen it more than
Yo,
once.
he'll think it's terrible.
Yeah, it's like,
But, dude, what's his fucking name? Kevin Costner, man.
Yeah, Kevin Costner.
Yeah. What movie would have been better with bikes?
This takes some thinking.
What movie would you
What
have made
movie?
better with bikes?
Better with bikes.
You know, let's fully go into it. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Wow. No kidding.
Land of Misfit Bikes.
Everybody's a bike in that movie except for Santa and the
like
snowman.
Nobody likes a rim brake.
Nobody likes a rim brake.
Paul, movie that would be better with bikes.
Top Gun.
Top Gun. Shit, you beat me because I was going to say Fast and the Furious.
Oh, that would even be better. That's a better one. Yeah.
It's a lot slower.
Yeah, it was slow and the painful. Which one of the 7 dwarfs best describes your cycling style? You can give a real one, or you can make up your own dwarf.
Definitely Goofy.
Goofy. There is no Goofy dwarf.
I mean,
but that's your new one.
Dopey.
Dopey.
Yeah.
Okay, Dopey. I came up with a real one and a fake one.
Go for it. I'm still thinking.
Oh, my real dwarf would be Grumpy,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
my fake one would be Bigly.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. I'm
No way, not doing those many miles. No, fake. Anyway,
I think Mopey. Maybe.
Mopey. You're not Mopey though. I would call you Springy.
There we go.
That'd be you. Yeah,
Okay.
and you're fucking
Happy.
happy. You're happy if you're
Yeah.
a real dwarf,
Yeah.
and it pisses me off because I tried to install my cynicism into you, but your mom's a cynic too. I don't.
Well,
I got to
two
interview
wrongs
the,
make a right then.
maybe, yeah. I was
There you
gonna get negative and talk about the postman here for a second, but I'm glad you brought me out of that, Paul. Last one. What song best describes your cycling style? If you had to pick the title of a song that was like, "This is me on a bike."
That would be a Spinal Tap. It's not really Sex Farm.
Sex Farm Woman.
Wider the waistband, the deeper the quicksand. Yeah.
Why?
It just came to me.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like Big Bottoms or something
Big
like that.
Bottoms.
Talk about mud flaps. My babe's got them. How can I leave this behind?
Yeah.
This is a
Boom,
great,
boom.
great movie.
I can. With how my current schedule is going, maybe the Maroon 5 song "Sunday Morning" because that's the only time I'm getting out anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You guys just wussed out on this one. Mine is "Nobody Does It Better" by Carly Simon.
That was a James Bond theme too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Mhm.
And you know what? I, as a young person, actually was vain enough to say this is my theme song. Where's the camera? How things have changed. How things have changed. All right, so Packfiller, not the classic. The classic was the one in the summer. This is the challenge. The
The challenge is remembering the name.
It
that you
is.
gave
It is. Well, it was supposed to be funny. You know, Packfiller unendorsed virtual cycling challenge.
Yeah.
I wish I could have making it PUC.
Oh, C.
C. So it's the puck. Packfiller unendorsed cycling. Virtual cycling. PUV. It's the
Can't get
PUV.
We'll workshop it.
It's the PUV. We will workshop that one. But that's what we're looking forward to next. And I believe we came to a consensus that we're pushing it back a little bit of time
Yeah.
in order to promote it, in order to get our friends excited, in order to make sure our fucking trainers working the way it
Not
should be. Yeah, exactly.
3 watts per kilogram
Yeah, we
on
get-
a 12% descent.
We got to get Paul up to at least 1,000 watts for his sprint, and so that'll be the plan. And we're going to go ahead with that. And I will post everything tomorrow. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, and let's have some fun with this. I think it'll get us through the winter, and it'll get us close to maybe burning off some Thanksgiving. Who the fuck's doing Thanksgiving this year? I mean, ours
am.
is tiny.
I got
Ours
prime
is so
rib.
small. Do you?
Yeah.
We talked about that. That is so messed up.
No, it's better to leftovers the next day than turkey.
Turkey and mayo in my life is a good thing. Yeah,
Prime rib can last you like 5 days in the fridge.
prime
and you
rib's
can
too
just-
fatty for me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, that ends another episode of the Packfiller. Hey, like the show, subscribe to the show, and you know what, you guys? If you viewed or listened on any of our platforms, I would love to know which one it was and how it worked and why you choose that one. This includes the afterwards, that, you know, because Podbean is live, and I know the video streams are live, and not everybody's going to sit down and listen to three idiots for an hour and 23 minutes. But I know some of you guys watch this afterwards or through its entirety. I'd love to find out the stats on where this stuff goes and what you guys think is more enjoyable and what platform works out best. And it's all about me. So there we go. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Jackson.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And